Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey wants to talk about my Mando mom list, so I guess that's what we're going to do today, is talk about that list, because I've been having a lot of fun playing it, and we'll go ahead and talk about that, but and we'll see what else we kind of talk about, because, you know, the pigeon that drives Aubrey's bus brain, we'll see what happens with that. Aubrey, how are we doing today?
I am doing fantastic, despite the fact that I made very poor choices and stayed up really late with Talia's childhood friend lives across the street from us. And so they invited us over for like dinner, and they've got like a fire pit. So we had some drinks, had a good time. He plays guitar, so he did a little bit of that. And I didn't even know this. His wife is learning to play the mandolin. Todd, do you know what a mandolin is? Because I just knew the word.
Yeah, it's like a little guitar-looking thing. Yeah, it looks like a guitar,
yeah,
but it's like got that little. It's got the cine neck and a bowl.
Yeah, it's like a violin and a guitar, and I don't know, some other third object had like a weird affair and ended up with this baby instrument.
Yeah,
I had never
I
seen
played
one
musical
before.
instruments when I was younger, so I was like, I weirdly took a lot of music classes, different musical classes in college, like as electives and stuff like that. Like I've taken like the history of rock, history of jazz, like musical instrument theory. Like I took a lot of like oddly took a lot of music classes in college. So
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm learning what?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you had like played an instrument or something like in school, but like you went pretty deep if you did that in college.
yeah. I mean, it was just like, you know,
Okay.
you could take this stuff just seemed interesting to me, and it was like one of the classes, like one of the music classes was like one of the project you got extra credit if like you went to concerts and like wrote a thing about it. So like I went and saw like Kanye West before he went crazy in concert.
Mm-hmm.
Like he played at a very small venue here locally, and like so like I got extra credit in one of my college courses for going and seeing Kanye West.
All right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I think it was for his first solo album, so like way before he went crazy.
Hey, talk about. You're already derailing me. It's been 30 seconds, Todd, or 2 minutes,
Yeah,
whatever.
It's not hard.
In college, I had to take a business law class because I changed majors so many times. My very first major was just straight up business because I was trying to be practical, and I had to go and like observe a court, like just a court proceedings, and I was supposed to write about it. But it's kind of random, right? You're just supposed to show up at the courthouse and find something to go watch, and you're supposed to dress up nice because you're in court and all that. So, and for some reason, my mom wanted to come with me. I don't know why. I think she was just curious. I don't know. So she comes with me. So my mom and I are all kitted out like in court attire. We go into this court proceeding, and it actually ends up being super interesting because it was like these two businesses were arguing over this like arcane piece of business law because it had to be about like business law, right? Like that's what made it tricky is you had to find an ongoing court case about that subject, and the like prosecuting lawyer did not like that we were there. He was freaked out the whole time. He kept looking over his shoulder at us the whole time. We were distracting him from his argument. And then at the end of the session, he beelined over to us and was like, "What are you doing here?" Because he thought we were like, I don't know, like trying to mess with his court
Super
case,
secret
or we were
spies,
or spies or something. And I was like, I'm a business law student, because that was the easiest thing to say. Like, I'm taking a business class and I need to write a paper about this. The dude literally, as soon as he heard that, he stopped talking to me and turned around and walked away. Like he didn't even go, didn't say anything nice to me. Didn't go, oh, that's interesting. He was just so angry that somebody was messing with his mojo.
That's funny. Lawyers can be funny sometimes. Lawyers, I mean, you know, we have a couple of them in our community for sure. So you know,
well, I mean, yeah. Have you heard those sci-fi guys? No, I don't know. You can't trust those guys. No.
Exactly right. Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, how have you been though? What have you been up to? Shatterpoint stuff wise or Star Wars wise? Because I know you've been busy with work and stuff, and hanging out, learning about mandolins and stuff. So, any Star Wars, any Shatterpoint stuff going on with you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember last Saturday nights are now set aside for Talia for like date night. Well, either like Friday or Saturday. We try to spend at least one night a week together. So that's really what that was about. But Shatterpoint wise, I will admit, not much. I'm still working on more tables. So like for those of you on the YouTubes, I've got these little interlocking I guess pillars is what you'd call them, supports, and then you like slot buildings into them. I believe the terrain it's called War Layer, and I think it's more for like 40K, but the sizes match up. Like they're all of the structures are at least 3 inches tall. So and you can interlock them like in multiple levels, so you can keep going up. So it's gonna be a little shorter than the official AMG terrain. But Talia was actually really excited about this table. She saw it at LVO, and like she went over and she was like, what is this set? I think somebody was either using it in War Machine or MCP. Like it wasn't anywhere near us. It was somewhere else. And she like just started talking to him about the table. She's like, you should get that. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll try it. It's a bunch of STLs with a bunch of options for like there's a wall with a door, there's a wall with a ladder, there's open like you can make catwalks if you want to make it so that like you can go underneath the structures, just like gantries and things. So I'm gonna make
Was
at
it
least
Tyson's
one table
company? Is it Tyson's company that makes terrain, or is it?
No, I think. Well, I don't know. It's called War Layer. I don't think it has anything
No,
to
that's
do
not
with
his
Tyson.
company. Well, he has his
Yeah.
own company that makes like terrain and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, but I think doesn't he just does he make STLs? I thought he just prints
Yeah,
terrain.
yeah. In Terrainiacs or Terrainiacs is like his company that makes terrain as well. I didn't know. Yeah, it's they like have different STLs. It's more gothic village stuff than like, yeah, looking at it, it's more gothic type of stuff. I don't think it'd be anything that really like fits into the Star Wars universe, but it's really cool stuff. I mean, I could see like if you're playing
Oh,
D&D or something like that.
I didn't
Yeah,
know he
yeah,
did
he makes.
STLs too. I thought he was just printing
Mhm.
stuff. Well, now
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
have
He has his
I'm
own.
at least gonna wander through and take a look at that. So
Yeah, his stuff's really cool looking. I mean, like I said, if for like if like you're looking for D&D, I mean, I could see like I know there's a big Frostgrave group here in Arizona, and it's like I could see his stuff getting used for like that very easily because like it's like it really kind of fits that Frostgrave vibe and stuff along those lines. So like I would totally buy up a bunch of his stuff and play Frostgrave on it for sure. Which I know
yeah,
you don't
I
even play
gotta.
that much, but
If I ever get time, I do want to try it. That game does sound interesting. That's the one where you're like a wizard and you have like a
a
group
war
like
band, yeah,
yeah, a
yeah.
war band that's traveling with you or whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
that looks like it would be fun. I
Yeah.
barely have had time to play Shatterpoint, let alone any other games.
Right. No, it's a very fun game. I mean, it goes fast. It's just I mean, and you can. It's an interesting game for sure. Definitely worth like it's a good palate cleanser game too. I mean, and there's a pretty decent community here locally in Arizona that plays it. But I think that goes for just about any tabletop game for the most part. There's you can in Arizona you can pretty much find at least a couple people that play any type of game. So, which is really nice. But yeah, so I know
How
for
about
me
you?
like the yeah, for me, let's see. I'm almost done with all of the painting stuff for my stepson and his Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. So I'm on the. I got the last spider foe that he wants that he's going to currently play. I still have like two more that he needs that need to be painted. That I'm like, no, you're just not gonna play these. Here's 10 models that are painted type of a thing, and these are I'm like I'm gonna make you a roster based off of the stuff that you bought, and you can go with that, and give you a couple other pieces. So yeah, I'm like finishing up Electro now. I still would have Vulture and Sandman's constructs to do, but I'm like I'll get to those later because I want to paint some of my stuff. So yeah, so I've been painting wise, just been doing that. Let's see. I'm finishing up. I do have the ISBs, like the base coats on my ISBs, and I've the Death Trooper Specialist, or yeah, Death Trooper Specialist. He's pretty much done now. So been working on those. but yeah, I was able to get a couple games in yesterday because I went over. I mean, it's really nice that we have such amazing players just locally that you could just get games in. Because like, so Chris Sampson, like, sent me a message like last week, and he's like, "Hey, I'm thinking of having people over to play games." So it was like he's like, and basically it was myself, Chris Sampson, Matt Booker, and Bob, and all three or the four of us like just met up at Chris's house. He has this nice table that actually fit two mats side by side, and basically he ordered pizza. We brought over some drinks and just kind of had lunch, and then played like 2 games of Shatterpoint and everything like that. So I played against Chris, and then I played against Bob. I really, like I said, I've been having so much fun playing my Mandalorian mom list that I just kind of really, I was like, well, I'll play that, and I brought a first contact. So I played against Chris, and I'm like, well, I brought first contact. Yeah, and he's like, I'm like, well, let's try it. So it was an interesting game. I guess I can just jump into the game a little bit just to kind of give some context. So like the game went okay. Like, so it was I ended up winning, but it was like basically it was my dice were pretty brutal to me. There was multiple times like he attacked into Bosk, I think like 3 times in the first struggle, and he only has a 4 dice. He had like 4 dice or something along those lines, and all 3 defense rolls with Bosk were 3 fails and a block.
What? Ow!
Yeah. I was like, statistically, a lot of my defensive dice were just really low. So just to kind of give context, I guess we've talked about the list before, but it's the Mandalorian with Bosk and Han and Chewie, and then the second squad is Mom with Jango and Night Sister Acolytes. And he was playing, well, I don't. He's been kind of cagey about this list, so I don't want to sit there and give I guess, his tech away too much, but because this might be something that he plays potentially at Adepticon, so I don't want to.
He was playing Shatterpoint models.
Right. Yes. So yeah, exactly. He was playing the game of Shatterpoint. So yeah, I don't want to give it like his.
Did he bring
potential...
spider foes? Was he just playing spider foes against you?
He was. Yeah, he went upstairs and grabbed his MCP and our MCP stuff. But no, so he won, like, just to kind of like give a quick overview of it. We had a very good back and forth. Basically, kind of just, especially the first struggle, they kind of gets very spread out on first contact. So you really need a lot of movement to kind of get to stuff. He had a list that had some good movement. I will say this: he played Vader 3, and because of like a lot of the out of activation movement that he had Vader 3 almost on the midline before he actually activated him. So it was gross. So like struggle 1, really, like, he was able to just like really get a lot of early pressure, and won the struggle very, very easily. We go into struggle 2, and he had it like very early in the struggle. The flop was really not didn't favor me very well, and basically I spent a lot of time just flipping the struggle, because you can pay the force or you can pay a momentum and flip it. And I must have done that 4 times during the course of the game, the second struggle. And because of that, he was not able to get a foothold on it. And I basically kind of like slowly pulled the struggle back from him, because by the time we finished the struggle, I had full momentum and basically had flipped it so many times that I was able to pull it back from him and actually win the second struggle. And I think that was like a key point in that game, was like, and I think that goes to show why a lot of people probably don't play first contact, or don't want to play first contact competitively, because the RNG of it all, like, he should have won that second struggle. He should have 2-0'd me for sure. But the RNG of it all really kind of just pulled it all back to me, and ended up winning the struggle, because I was just able to, like, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm just like, every time I was like, well, you have 3, I'm going to do it. You have 3, I'm going to do it. To the point where it finally just turned to where it's like, well, now all I have to do is go take this point, type of a thing. So it was it was interesting, whereas like, like I said, I don't know if it's like you're relying on a lot of RNG with that to sit there and kind of carry you through and not hurt you. And I think the RNG in that second struggle definitely negatively impacted Chris for sure. So we go to struggle 3, and we didn't flip as many times there. And I think there was the funny thing is playing a double revenge list. I mean, there was a lot of times where like Chris could have gone for a wound, but like the wound would, and we were playing a very casual game just to kind of like really have like the back and forth conversations and everything along those lines, and there's I think there was more testing and things going on, especially since we're 2 months away from it, a little over 2 months away from Adepticon. So
it's time to test.
Yeah, so it was one of those where we talked through a lot of things where it's like, well, yeah, you can go over here and kill the Night Sister Acolytes, but if you do, Mando can move over here. Mom, she doesn't have to, like, Mom's movement, she doesn't have, on her dash, she doesn't have to dash towards you. She can just dash any random direction she wants to. So it's like, well, you moved over here to take this point, but now, yeah, you kill them, but Mom can just move on to the point and just stop you from taking it anyway. And that's one of the things that I think Mom's really good at, which like, I'm sure we can get into a little bit more, is that Mom just sometimes Mom and Mando both, I mean, they can sneakily just be like, well, no, now you don't take that point, even though you sat there and put all this work into taking that point, because they move on to the point of what you just killed, or they just spike a 5 dice attack into you with Mom that stops that. I mean, and sneakily, this actually potentially in some cases can have a triple revenge, because Boss can sit there. If like you take out Django, Boss actually gets to move and attack as well. So it's a very interesting revenge, fun revenge list for sure. So but there was a lot of that going on, and also Django. Like if you take something out of reserve, Django's not so fast. He gets a jump. So like you can just jump him into a position if you have somebody into there as well. So there's a lot of just interesting out of activation movement that just can happen for sure. And I think that's, so there was a lot of talking through with that, where Chris only did, I think, 3 wounds throughout the 3 struggles, because there was hesitancy of like, well, doing the wound is not going to accomplish what I need it to accomplish. It's more along the lines of I need to hit something and maybe push them or something along those lines. So there was a lot of, it felt a lot more scenario focused than attrition focused, and that's, I know in this game sometimes you want to lean into the attrition a little bit, and he just did not work out that way, simply because of how much revenge was in those lists. And I think a lot of people have like played that double revenge, but it's kind of fallen off a little bit too. So there, but yeah, it was a fun game. Then I went into Bob, who was playing Obi. Oh my gosh, he was playing Obi Hunter. I had put 3,
how do you feel about
just to
Obi-Wan?
kind of talk about that, I put 3 attacks into. Oh, he's so good. I mean, but so I put 3 attacks, because like the biggest thing he was doing, like with Tech and Echo, he would move them forward, do their defensive maneuver, which is what I think is called keep a low profile, which is basically defensive maneuver, then take cover. So they constantly had like 2 hunkers on them, so they were like rolling 7-8 dice every time into range attacks. I mean, and Bob was constantly rolling like 5-6 blocks. It's like, okay, well, 1 down the tree. So like it just made Tech and Echo in our game super tanky. I never got a wound on him, even though I put like 3 attacks into Tech and Echo. I'm like, what is going on here? Because Tech and Echo are not tanky. They should be going down.
Yeah. Yeah, after the balance update, they're actually aren't they like the least tanky of the clones now? Like,
yeah. And they still it was just interesting. Like the list just did not punch through like it should have, and I just could not get through his Obi-Wan's hunker shenanigans in that game. But it was a fun game. Bob ended up winning that one, I think 2-1, pretty handily. We were playing on shifting on that one. But it was a fun game. I mean, like I said, we were playing more for fun. We were like Bob brought wings, Chris brought the pizza. I brought a couple of like, I'm like, well, like Chris likes sours, so I'm like, I'll bring over a sixer, a sour monkey, and there's a really fun coffee beer that I like, so I brought that over and just had some drinks and ate some pizza, ate some wings, and just like that, had some good games. I mean, and of course, Chris and Matt are pretty darn good players in my opinion when it comes to Shatterpoint. So there were some really good games and
Maybe.
some a lot of good conversations. Just a little, but yeah. So some good conversations, some good games for sure. So, but yeah, I mean had a really good day yesterday playing some good games and stuff like that. And of course, Justin, Chris's brother, he just disappeared and was painting and everything along those lines. So I'm like not surprised by any means.
Yep, that sounds like Justin. Justin was like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And bye. I'm gonna go paint.
Yeah. It was a good time.
It was definitely fun. It's very samurai of him. While you were playing Shatterpoint, I was studying the brush.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. But yeah, no, it was a good time. So I know, like that, you wanted to talk this list. So I mean, I guess I'll kind of let you ask the questions, or I don't know what kind of stuff did you want to talk about with this list?
All right. So first off, I mean, it is kind of tricky because you sort of already talked about it, but so I guess I will go back to questions I had during your game. So talking about the game with Chris, I know a lot of it was RNG and we're kind of dancing around what he was playing, but as somebody who's been playing a lot of Ahsoka, who does not have a revenge trigger, you were talking about the importance of having the double revenge and possibly the triple revenge. So what about having two revenge triggers do you think makes the list function the way it does? Why? I mean, beyond the whole, you're like, oh, I can sneakily take stuff, but I mean, sometimes you have to pull the trigger and get wounds or else you fall behind. So what other options does that give you, or is that just it? Is it just you're damned if you do, damned if you don't?
No, I mean, I think that, like, so the one thing about this, you with Shatterpoint and from the beginning of Shatterpoint, I think it's a conversation we've had multiple times. Is positioning is very, very important, and this allows you to take advantage of that importance of positioning, especially with, like I said, like multiple revenge triggers. And I even talked about like how Django, if you're going to put something in reserve, he almost punishes you for that because he can jump into any place that he wants to. Bosk, like I said, he has his revenge where he gets a dash. This list is like very, very mobile, but the revenges and it kind of give you that forgiving aspect of it where if you're just a little outside of where you need to be, now mom can dash where she needs to in order to sit there and really take advantage of a certain positioning, especially because her revenge has to be a ranged attack. So you can't just do a melee attack with her. It always has to be a ranged attack. So you can move to actually do your range attack. And then Mando, of course, his kit, you really want him in certain positions when he does activate. So it unlocks his kit by having that revenge because there's so many things that you want to do with him that you're not always able to do because unless you're farther up the board or in this very specific position. So being able to clan him too. And I actually with him was able to use his fearless and inventive during an attack because of being able to sit there and move him into a very specific position. So, it was just, that's not something that you consistently use. But being able to sit there and utilize his fearless inventive simply because I was able to really leverage his positioning and based off of his revenge triggers earlier in the game. And I think that's the biggest part that you want to kind of look at is the long term of like, okay, I'm going to move a model here so that I can take advantage of X, Y, or Z when I do activate them, or based off of you're kind of trying to look farther in the future of than just your initial, what am I doing this particular movement, but how is moving now going to impact down the road? And I think that's a big part of what you want to do with Mandalorian and with Mom is like where you can take advantage of positioning them for future activations and things along those lines. Did I answer the question?
All right. I think that, yeah, no, that that makes sense. No, that tracks.
Okay.
That does bring me to movement and positioning. You're running a lot of models that like Mother Talzin can move the Night Sister acolytes, and that's it. And everybody else,
Yes.
far as I know, they just only have movement for themselves, right? Yeah, Mando, but yeah, everybody's just moving
Hmm.
themselves all by their little onesie, and you know, a lot of the philosophy of Shatterpoint is have tons of out of activation movement, moving all of your people around. Did you ever struggle with getting your units where they needed to be, or is it just good enough because they all got jumps? They've all got right. Oh, maybe does
I
Bosk have a
think
jump? I don't think Bosk has a jump.
Bosk is like the least mobile of them all in
Yeah,
this particular
fair.
list. He just does not. But like you said, Mandalorian, he has his movement from on his revenge, so he can pretty much just be about anywhere. Han and Chewie have watch out, he's loose. Plus, I can't remember the other one, but they can pay another force to reposition after an attack action. They can
Yeah,
be on the opposite side of the board, so they within themselves they have a lot of movement themselves. Mother Talzin can move your Night Sisters. The Night Sisters can jump on, so there's so much in on card movement that all of the units have, minus Bosk, of course, that there was never really a problem needing to get a certain piece into the right position, because it's like, yes, I might have to spend some force, so you really have to watch how you're utilizing that force economy. But once you play this list, probably a couple of, like I said, I've played this list like 6-7 times now. Well, now that I've played this list so many times, I really know how to manage my force pretty well as I go through the thing. It's the one problem I think you run into more than anything is you do sometimes need to utilize reserving, because you just might not have, like, if you really need to move someone across the board, and you draw Bosk, it's like, oh well, but he's 1 in 6 that doesn't have that move. One in 6 activations that doesn't have that. It's 7 if you include your Shatterpoint card. So it's not that big of a hindrance when you actually get it, like if of having him in the roster. And like I said, I really do like his tankiness, because if you don't strain him, he just removes everything. So it's like
right.
he's kind of a pain to, like, do you really want to attack into him? Because if you don't kill him or put strain on him, he's just going to completely heal himself, and then you've just wasted all of those attacks that you put into him, type of a thing. So
Yeah,
he kind of he's very annoying.
yeah. Playing against you, I really got to see that Bosk really punches up, and even when I was playing against Z's Inquisitors, because he had Bosk in that list. I really need to get Bosk on the table. This is he is a sneakily good 3-point model. Like, I definitely does work.
Yes,
Okay,
he does.
so
He does a lot.
so my next question is, all right, now looking at the boa constrictor that is Obi Hunter, you have manipulating hand, and you have Clan of Two's push, so you have access to those things, and you even have you get like, I was really surprised by the amount of expose that your list had access to, because I was like, well, you're only playing Mama and Acolyte, right? So I was like,
Hmm.
well, do you do you really have that much? But I forgot about the different trees and how you get exposed on a lot of different ways with these models. So
Right.
was it just, do you think it was just the dice rolls, and like it sounded like Bob had some pretty hot dice, and of course he's a good player too, so I mean he probably
Hmm.
positioned pretty well. Was it some of that, or because in my mind I'm thinking, trying to get to the question, it feels like you have the tools to dismantle the Obi Hunter shenanigans, but that didn't happen. Like, do you have any other games with Obi Hunter, or was it just this game, or do you get where I'm getting at? It feels like you have the tools,
Yeah.
but you got shut down. So what happened there, Todd?
Like I said, there was, like I said, I think I attacked with Mando at one point in time into Techo, and I did not have any. I think I might have had one crit and like 5 strikes or five, but Bob just naturally rolled like 5 blocks.
Okay.
So it was one of those. So there was a lot of that where it's like the volume of dice just went his way in very critical rolls that he had, where it just was not. And the flop, like I know one thing of the flop for him on Struggle 3 was really good, where he won it in 2 activations, just because like it was fantastic.
Whoa. Okay.
And that happens sometimes with
some variance.
So there was some variance. I did not have the expose on the Techo side, because like you were saying, you can coordinated fire expose with the Night Sisters. If you're on the Great Mother side, you going 2 down the tree, you just put expose right back on them, which is kind of a fun thing to do. So you can expose into expose again. The Night Sisters have expose on step 3, which they're pretty much going to be using, especially if the nice thing with them is because of their Night Hunter. A lot of things that I was doing, especially against Chris, was I actually had Mother Talzin engaged, and both of the Night Sister acolytes, they jumped to where they were able to both do range attacks, and now they're both rolling 2 extra dice. So at a range attack, they're both rolling 8 dice because the model was engaged with Mother Talzin. So it's like, well, I'm rolling 8 dice into 4.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool shenanigans you can just do. And I kind of took a little bit of like Scott Evil Houdini, like kind of what he was doing with the list that he won, his Dooku list that he won with at Adepticon. Cause it was like Dooku and the Magna Guards, and then everything else I think was like Mandos or something along those lines. It was nothing related to what Dooku was running. So what you ran into was so basically kind of like Dooku and the Magna Guards ran and did their own thing, and then everybody else kind of did their thing. And that's a little bit of what's going on here is Mom and the Night Sisters are kind of doing their thing on one side of the board, while the Mandalorian and all of the other scoundrels are kind of running around doing their thing throughout the rest of the board. And you can kind of like lock down just with Mom and the acolytes and stuff like that. And that's a lot of what happens with this list, is that, especially with that, you're just exposing everything on that side of the board. You really are. Even, like I said, even sometimes just getting that 3 down the tree, which is not that difficult with the Night Sisters. They can pretty easily get 3 down their tree, which gives you basically, okay, now I've exposed something. You've pinned. You only do 3 damage, yes, but you pin, shove, expose on 3 with 3 damage. So it's 2 conditions. A shove is pretty nice on 3 steps on your tree.
That's okay. All right, that's cool. That's all right. All right. I'm seeing the picture here. So, all right, next question, and it's kind of going back to like the kit. You were talking about force economy, and I know that like Han and Chewie can get you some force back. Jango can get some force back. I mean, it's very specific scenarios where you get that, but I mean, we can't all be Baze and Chirrut. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
But my thought process is, how often did you get to utilize like Clan of Two? And well, I mean, Clan of Two we use pretty often. Maybe I'm thinking more manipulating hand. How often were you able to use manipulating hand given the constraints of the list?
Very rarely. It didn't really matter, to be honest. So I didn't really use manipulating hands that much. So I mean, when you look at Night Sister Acolytes and Mother Talzin, the only force that I consistently used there was probably for their acrobatic advance, because it jumps hunkers. So there was so they consistently had a hunker on them for that. Coordinated fire, as long as they're not injured, you're not doing anything with that. Life drain is very important, because the Night Sisters do go forward, and then if they can do some damage, I'm healing that damage right back off. So that was one of the nice things about on the Mother Talzin side. And I pretty much stay on the Great Mother side. I think I might have flipped into Wrath like once during both of our games, but I consistently stay on the Great Mother side. And Great Mother on 2 steps down the tree, you're getting 2 shoves. It's 2 shoves for 3 damage. So if you don't go the expose route, because you can also get, so that's one of the things where manipulating hands, yes, you can dash somebody off, but if you're double shoving somebody on 2 steps down the tree and she's doing, on a 7 dice attack, is it's that does
Mm-hmm.
just as well as a manipulating hands, and again you can sit there and it doesn't have the reach. Well, it does have the reach because it's a range 4 attack and you range 4 on manipulating hands. So I mean it's the same. You have the same reach without having to pay the force. So manipulating hands is a nice tool to have, but I don't think I've ever. There was not a time where I'm like, man, do I need to use manipulating hands here? No, I don't really need to use it. I can just, as long as I get 2 down the tree. I mean, and if you get 4 down the tree, now you're shoved 3 times. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that attack, as long as you've positioned your Night Sisters correctly, going 2 to 4 down your tree on an exposed model is not that difficult on a 7 dice attack.
That's Ooh, okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was one other question I had, but then I started thinking about Amazonian goth witches from Dathomir for a minute, and let me look at these again. Well, okay. What do you think? What are the play patterns like if somebody was going to pick up this list? What are some maybe less obvious play patterns? Because you've kind of told me everybody's kind of their little self-contained silo, except for Mother and the Acolytes. It sounds like you pretty much keep them together. This almost makes me sound like you really want to be on Sabotage, because you can like you've got like your 2 lanes, and maybe Mando's bebopping around from one side of the table to the other side of the table. I know you took First Contact, but I'm thinking of like, would you prefer Sabotage or shifting?
I think you would.
Or...
I think I did not like shifting that much, to be honest. I think I would like Sabotage on this one simply because of like you can put anybody where you want on that one because it is a tighter map. And like I said, again, outside of Bosk, you can move anybody just about anywhere that you want to. And your deployment's a little bit tighter too. You can deploy pretty tight in the middle and then just kind of fan out as you need. So I really think that the Sabotage is probably the best mission for that. I more wanted to try, and this is like Diz getting into my head probably more than anything, is that Diz kept on talking about how good Mom is on First Contact. So I wanted to run her on First Contact for sure, and just to kind of get the see what he thought of that. And I mean, to be honest, she was good there, being able to move stuff around, and the movement definitely helped because of, well, I need to be all the way over here. Like I think the one point that was the farthest, like the middle 3 in from on the center line, basically being able to I have the Night Sisters there where they can move, pay a force to jump, and then take cover. Oh, okay. Now I'm on, like I'm contesting the point that I needed to, and they have 2 hunkers on them. So like you have to move into engagement range in order to sit there and really potentially move them off the point. So I did like them on that, but yeah, shifting or Sabotage is definitely, I think, the way to go. Like I said, with all of the other stuff. As far as lines of play, I don't think Mando's been around long enough to where it's not that surprising. I think you can with this list, especially with the additional movement that you have, you can, especially on tight maps, again, like you were talking about on shift, specifically on First Contact, his Fearless Inventive became a little bit more usable because you can put the people can get into very tight spaces on that in some cases. So
Yeah.
you can sit there and position yourself to be engaged. So Fearless Inventive actually did become pretty reliable on that mat. But I don't know if that's something where, again, it's one of those where the RNG of it all. Let's see. I'm trying to think. The Bosk thing, I think, is probably like the biggest thing because his kit's a little bit different than anything else that we've really kind of played on before. His explosive ordnance is pretty interesting because of how that works. I mean, unless you played Sabine, it's very similar to Sabine's her
Yeah.
active thing. So I don't know if for those who have not played Sabine or Bosk, basically the way that works is you choose an enemy character within range 5 and roll 5 dice. So the nice thing is you don't have to worry about any type of point that's being contested or anything like that. You just find a character, you roll 5 dice, and then they do the damage. And again, but the nice thing is then he also can do a dash. So like he gets a little bit of movement out of that. So it's you spay a force, roll some dice. If you get some expertise, you do some damage. Oh, and then he can dash. And again, his dash is omnidirectional. You don't have to go dash towards the character that was range 5 away. So you can go a completely different direction. Maybe do spike 1 or 2 damage, then go over and shoot somebody else and go from there. And by the way, he has a 7 dice range attack. So like in one expertise is 2 strikes, or he has a 3, he gets a crit and a strike. So his overall, he's pretty solid. I mean, he has a shove on 2 and 3 if you go his bottom route. So he's interestingly pretty good. And he does have his, like I said, his revenge trigger for bounty hunters.
Whoa, he can do 7 damage on 4 steps if you go the top right. And all right, I need to put Bosk on the table. What is this? What is this I'm looking at? Well, this guy's 3 points. Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And sneakily, let's say you activate him, he has payday. If he's in range of a Night Sister is close by, you can payday him to give expose to somebody. You can also do that with Han and Chewie. So there's ways to sit there and leverage the expose from Night Sisters with payday if you're really wanting to coordinate fire expose. So there's some play patterns with that where it's someone you're not thinking about like how you can utilize payday. You can also payday Han and Chewie in certain cases where it's an obvious you have to go into Han and Chewie, or they're definitely going to go into Han and Chewie for an attack. So you could payday them into bounty hunters so that you're getting a triple revenge in situations. So there's situationally. He has an interesting toolbox of things with his explosive ordnance, with his payday. Those 2 things can in this list can sneakily do more work than you think.
Okay. All right. All right. So Todd, this is very important. I have a title for your list building. This is what I've decided. It's well, first off, you have actually I have two. It's the first one is honorary Mando mommy. Because Mando now has a mommy, and yes, it should be armorer, but that's fine. Nope, honorary Mando mommy. And then what I'm hearing is that this list sounds like Queen Slay because you're turning Han and Chewie and Bosk into Night Sisters. so we got some drag queen action going on here. All right, I like it. This list is a little freaky. It's okay. This is Shatterpoint After Dark now.
It is different. It's definitely a very different list, but I have fun playing it. Like I said, it's like you can being able to sit there and do multiple things. Like I said, and Han and Chewie are sneakily mobile, and I think most people know this by now. With the watch out, he's loose. That's interesting too because you force someone to sit there and make a decision of whether they want to be disarmed or exposed with that ability. So there's another way to potentially put expose on somebody or disarm them, depending on what they're wanting to do. And like I said, boring conversation anyway really is interesting just because of now I can reposition. So I mean, you could potentially do a movement action, look out he's loose to dash, to do your attack. Boring conversation anyway to reposition the same character. So you could put like Chewie all the way. Yeah, you can move, move, dash, and then repo this one character with that list. Granted, you're paying 2 force, but you're also potentially either exposing or disarming someone in the process.
That's see, this is where I just get all copycatty. I'm trying to stick to my guns over here. I'm still gonna play at least one more game with Ahsoka 3, just because I want to try out that list you sent after our episode last week. And but man, I feel like I just want to keep copying you. It's fine. It's just I really love. I still love that Mother Talzin and the Night Sisters were in the game so early on. I know this is something Accuser brings up a lot, but it is a pretty deep cut because I know we're gonna talk more about Night Sisters in our bonus episode, but it's very interesting, this little segment of Star Wars where our force is different from your force kind of thing. And I love how they're represented in the game because it just feels very good. And then, I mean, ever since Mando came out, I love Mando. He's just a solid model all the way around. This list just sounds fun. It sounds like you're having fun,
It is a lot
Todd.
of fun.
We're supposed to be having fun with this game, right?
That's the point. That's I think the ultimate goal is definitely to have fun with this game, and I'm really enjoying this list, and I think that's something that we really sometimes need to go back to. I mean, right now, yes, we're getting ready for Adepticon. We're getting ready for World Championships. World Championships is 2 months away. From the time that we're recording this, I think we're 3 hours away from tickets going live. For
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Adepticon.
Tickets are about to go up.
So
Hopefully, you
yeah,
already got
I mean,
yours
and
by
I
the time you
actually
hear this.
hopefully so. Hopefully so. I mean, and I actually have. I think what in 4 hours I have a meeting with Adepticon, with the people at Adepticon about the streaming. So we will be streaming at Adepticon. And I think that pretty much is official at this point in time. If I'm meeting with like the co-founders of Adepticon about the streaming, I would say that it's more than like I feel pretty confident in saying that we'll be back to stream for the third year now in a row. But yeah,
We have been
Night
waiting
Sisters. I
to
mean, they're
know.
definitely fun. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm meeting with them today, so I don't see why I wouldn't. But unless, like I have that way of angering people in the moment, so maybe I'll just try and be on my best behavior.
Yeah, calm down, Todd. Yes, yes, you're the one who says random things that don't make any sense and annoys people. Yes, between the two of us, it's definitely you. Hmm. Hmm. Oh wait, I'm here.
Right, right, yeah, no, but yeah, no. As far as like the deep cut of the Night Sisters, they're definitely very cool. I think I've even learned some stuff. Like there's like the book that they and we'll probably go into this more in the bonus episode, but just to give a taste, there's this book called the Book of Law, for those who don't know, but that is basically the book that was kind of like the laws of the Night Sisters. That book was written by Alia, who is a female Jedi who was exiled to Dathomir by the Jedi Council. So that's kind of where the Force use comes from. Like, and it's just interesting. It's very interesting, like that entire
Mm-hmm.
lore behind the Night Sisters.
We're doing a whole separate episode, Todd. Don't make me start talking about this because it's super fun.
Yeah. So like, if you want to hear more about that, like we've been having a lot of fun with our bonus episodes talking about different characters and the lore behind them and everything along those lines. And we kind of go through all of the media and also talk about them in gaming and stuff like that. Not just Shatterpoint, but like other games that characters show up into. So it's definitely cool. So yeah, pretty excited about all of that. And I enjoyed the list. I don't know. What do you think, Aubrey? Are you going to sit there and put this together and put it on the table?
So I got a pink Bosk. I mean, I don't have to. I could put gray models out. I'm still trying to resist you all, but I understand. I understand. I'm gonna have to paint Bosk. I mean, he is assembled. I do at least. Not a single model, Shatterpoint model of mine is on sprues anymore. A few of them are still a little disassembled because like Krennic's cape is giving me fits, and I'm like, I don't want to put you together till I like get you painted the way I want, but because that cape is really epic. But
Yes.
but for the most part, well, I mean, I'm just thinking as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of oh my god, why am I blanking? Kevin's his pride flag Krennic, right? I'm thinking of that.
Yes.
Like, there's some cool stuff you could do with it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, but uh, in any event, I have them all assembled, so I can put Bosk on the table. We'll see. I don't know. My first thing is I'm gonna run that list you sent me. I'm gonna give Ahsoka one last go, and then I am gonna put. I'm glad we talked about Vader 3. I am gonna put Vader 3 on the table. Like, that's my next goal. So I don't know if I'm gonna get to your list right away, but I think I will at least play it in a game because it sounds like fun. I'm enjoying it, and I miss. I mean, you remember in the early days we were both playing Mother Maul. That was one of my favorite early lists. I do miss it, even though it kind of hasn't kept up with the shenanigans of the meta. But I mean, this is giving me that same vibes. It's sounding fun. I wanna do it. I almost forgot. I almost forgot to tell the story, Todd. Okay, for those of you on the YouTube, I am holding up. I have my honorary Mando baby. It's getting losers. We're getting chicky nuggies with Grogu here. This is very important. I quote unquote lost this sweater. Couldn't find this sweater anywhere, Todd. My kids got this for me for Christmas. I think 2 years back. I think it was 2 years back. It might have been a little further back than that. I don't know. They got it for me. But when we moved, I lost it. And for those of you not on YouTube, air quotes, I lost it because Todd,
it's Aubrey, and Aubrey can misplace things very easily without even thinking about it. But they just,
Yeah.
I lost something. Yes.
Yeah, Todd, ask me, where was my sweater?
Did you have it like in your dresser? Because that would be on brand.
It was in the top drawer of my dresser. I don't normally put sweaters in my dresser. I hang them up in my closet. So apparently when I moved, I rolled it up and shoved it in the back of a drawer in my dresser, and that's how I lost it.
Yeah.
It was with my clothes.
Like I said, on brand for Aubrey. That yes, he lost his clothing in his clothes.
Yep. I don't even know what I was doing. I was looking for something else, and I moved a bunch of stuff out of the way, and I got to the back of the drawer, and I was like, "What's this?" It pulled it out as it was all rolled up, and I'm like, "This is the sweater." I've been looking for this thing for like the 2.5 years that we have lived in this house, and I couldn't find it anywhere, and it didn't even occur to me to look in my dresser.
That's fantastic, Aubrey. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and
Very,
this
very
is
proud of
why this is why I went and got the ADHD diagnosis and am being medicated. Hey, everybody, therapy is good, and go talk to your doctor if you need help with things, because I can focus now, Todd. It's fascinating, at least better than I could before. It might not be good,
Nice.
but it's better.
Fair enough.
There's
But yeah.
the more you know PSA.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad that we have these moments with Aubrey. But yeah, no, like I said, overall, very good game. It's interesting. I don't think like the people at Adepticon listen to this, but I will say one thing. We had the Outer Rim Outpost terrain pack because Chris had, I think, won that at like our last league that we had.
Yeah.
So he had that, put it on the board, and he had that 3D print ring to kind of like even out that. I really think that that's something that needs to be on the table if you're going to utilize that. If you're going to utilize that terrain on tables.
I have it right here for the YouTubers. Keep talking.
But yeah, but I definitely think that that's something that needs to be utilized. I think it was Thoris. He actually, I think, designed it, or at least his name comes up a lot associated with that ring that goes over the top of it. And I definitely think it's something that needs to be utilized. Either that, or you need to position that piece of terrain in a place where it's not going to negatively impact gameplay. Just simply because of like how the shoving works, how you can position yourself to where on the top of that piece of terrain, one model can like take up that entire piece of terrain and can't be single shoved off of it either. So I think, especially I think that can lead to some pretty negative gameplay experiences with that terrain, just simply because how it's designed. I mean, it's a really cool looking piece of terrain for sure, but I think that it can lead to some negative gameplay experience if it's not utilized, if depending on where the placement is and things along those lines. So just things to think about with that particular piece of terrain, and we'll see like kind of how that I'm assuming, since they use nothing but official AMG terrain over at Adepticon, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. They did, yeah, but I mean, for the most part, it's almost all
Imperial terrain.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, it's like all MCP, or it's all official AMG terrain between. Because like, I mean, now you have like multiple pieces of official terrain. You have the maintenance bay, you have the high ground pack, you have the core set stuff, you have the take cover pack, and now you have the outer rim outpost. So it's like there's multiple pieces of official terrain now to where you can make a little bit more dynamic tables. But I think you really need to utilize, especially like with how movement, how placement works in this game. You have to be, as a organizer. I mean, we've run into this multiple times as organizers. You really have to be careful about where you're placing some of these pieces that can impact
Yes.
placement very directly. I mean, especially with that one, there's been some issues with the maintenance bay, especially because the maintenance bay is sloped on the side. So like how you shove, depending on how opponents want to agree on how shoves work on that particular piece of terrain, can be interesting. So, but yeah, no, I definitely there's, but I think that's, that's not something that's a conversation that I think everyone is used to having, but it's definitely something, like, especially if you're going to be going to Adepticon, be prepared to have these conversations of how you are going to interact with these pieces of terrain for sure.
That reminds me, from your pictures from over at Chris's place, I was so confused, because if you look at and you can find these in our Discord, right? It was in our Discord where you posted those pictures. Yeah. I liked that Chris took the maintenance bay apart and just used the one side of it as a terrain piece. Like,
yeah.
he didn't have the whole whatever it is, I don't know, the drive up or whatever you want to call it, the other wall. He just had the main bulky piece. Because I was sitting there looking at the pictures and I was like, what terrain is that? Like, it took me a second to figure out what was going on, because he just had the one piece out. And I was like, that thing looks really cool. I'm going to ask him what that is. And then I looked at it for like another second and I was like, wait. I'm like, that's just the maintenance bay. He just has it set up differently. And I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. So, because I know sometimes that thing, like, it's cool and it showcases all the terrain rules really well, but it has like a huge footprint on a table when you're setting up. Because I have one, I still have a whole another AMG table core set and everything that I need to put together, and so we have another official terrain set. But I'm gonna try that once I get the maintenance bay up and going, because that looked really fun. Like, how did that play? Like, you played on that table, so like, it played
great.
fine, right?
It played great. Yeah, there was no complaints or anything like that. I mean, all that terrain really came together very well. Made for a very good game experience. He used those. So there were some 3D printed like walls that he had that we used, that were like really kind of added another level of. Sometimes your scattered terrain really can just be very impactful, and I think that came into play with this particular table, was just where scattered terrain was, where we placed it, especially down at like just on the bottom, because sometimes you don't need to have a big piece of terrain to sit there and impact the game. Just having one piece of terrain that you just can't shove through close to a point or something along those lines can be very impactful, and I think that came into play with that particular table as well. So it was, like I said, it was fun. We had some really good fun tables to play on and everything along those lines.
Very cool. Very cool. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I kind of like really went into talked about as much as I wanted to. So I guess we can close out there. As always, want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in and listening to the ramblings of Aubrey and Todd. We appreciate you guys. And if you want to support us, you can always do so by becoming a patron and listen to some of the cool bonus content that we've been coming up with lately. I think we're having a lot of fun, like going over and doing some bonus episodes there. And that's for as little as $1 a month. Definitely helps support us, helps us with putting everything together to go to Adepticon and to go to some of the other events that we stream and stuff like that. So definitely helps out us if you want to. If not, you can definitely support us by becoming, or just by rating or reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Or if you are watching us on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think. That also does help prime the algorithm for people and let them know that we're out there and everything along those lines. So we definitely appreciate that stuff as well. But other than that, as always, again, thank you very much for listening. And just remember, the Night Sisters are super cool goth ladies that, deserve your love and respect.
May the goth be with you.